The medical bay of the Galactic Coalition Station Epsilon 7 hummed with sterile efficiency as Kanat rushed through the sliding doors, his crystalline carapace reflecting the harsh overhead lights. The Veltharian security chief had seen many things in his 20 cycles aboard the station, but nothing had prepared him for the scene that greeted him. Bella sat on the examination table, her small human frame wrapped in a thermal blanket, blood trickling from a gash on her arm. 3 armed guards stood at attention nearby, their weapons trained not on her, but on the sealed containment unit in the corner of the room. Inside, something thrashed against the reinforced walls. "What happened?" Connaught demanded, his translator picking up the urgency in his chittering native tongue. Dr. Ilix, the station's chief medical officer, turned her 4 eyes toward him. The Xarian physician's tentacles writhed in visible distress. "Security chief, we have a situation. The human was attacked in Cargo Bay 7 approximately 15 minutes ago." Kanat's attention snapped to Bella. She was one of only 3 humans aboard the station, part of humanity's recent inclusion into the Coalition. The galaxy had welcomed them cautiously. These strange primates from a death world called Earth. They were considered fragile, their bodies soft and easily damaged compared to most spacefaring species. "Are you injured?" Kanat approached Bella, his voice softening despite the translator's mechanical tone. Bella looked up at him, and for a moment Kanat saw something in her brown eyes that made his scales tingle with unease. It wasn't fear. It wasn't shock. It was something far more primal. "I'm fine," she said quietly, pulling the blanket tighter. "Really, it's just a scratch." "A scratch?" Dr. Ilix interjected, her voice rising several octaves. "You were attacked by a Kragoth." "A fully grown Kragoth. Those creatures have been known to tear through durasteel plating." Kanat's blood chilled. Kragoths were apex predators from the quarantined world of Draxus Prime, standing 3 meters tall with razor-sharp claws and teeth designed to pierce armor. How one had gotten aboard the station was a question for later. Right now he needed to understand how Bella was still alive. "Show me the wound," he ordered. Reluctantly, Bella unwrapped her arm. The gash was deep but clean, already beginning to clot. But it was the bite mark on her shoulder that made everyone in the room fall silent. Deep puncture wounds formed a distinctive pattern. Dr. Ilix immediately scanned the injury with her medical tricorder, then froze. "This is impossible." "What is?" Kanat leaned closer. "The bite pattern. It doesn't match the Kragoth." The doctor's tentacles trembled as she pulled up a holographic display. "Look here. The Kragoth has a jaw structure like this. Rows of serrated teeth, spacing of approximately 4 centimeters between the canines. But these wounds," she highlighted the marks on Bella's shoulder, "these are different. Smaller spacing, different pressure points, and the tearing pattern suggests it came from something else entirely." Kanat looked at the containment unit where the Kragoth continued its desperate thrashing. Then he looked at Bella, who sat very still, her eyes fixed on the floor. "There were no other creatures in the cargo bay," he said slowly. "No," Bella whispered. "There weren't." Dr. Ilix's hologram flickered as she ran the bite pattern through the station's xenobiological database. Every known species in the galaxy, cataloged and indexed. The search ran for several seconds before returning a result that made no sense. "No match found." "That's impossible," the doctor breathed. "This database contains over 40 million species. Every creature we've ever encountered. How can there be no match?" Kanat's mind raced. He thought back to the emergency call, to the words the security team had used. "The human is trapped with the Kragoth, not the human is being attacked. Trapped with." "Bella," he said carefully, "tell me exactly what happened." She took a deep breath, and when she spoke, her voice was steady. "I was doing inventory in Cargo Bay 7. The Kragoth came out of nowhere. Someone must have smuggled it aboard. It cornered me against the storage containers. And then?" "And then," Bella's jaw tightened, "it attacked me. So I defended myself." "How?" Dr. Ilix pressed. "Humans are prey species. Your world may be dangerous, but you evolved as omnivores, not predators. You don't have natural weapons, no claws, no venom, no—" "We have teeth," Bella interrupted, her voice suddenly cold. The room fell silent. Connaught approached the containment unit and activated the viewing panel. The Kragoth inside was massive, its scales dark as space, its claws capable of rending metal. But as he looked closer, he saw something that made his heart skip a beat. The creature was injured. badly. Deep gouges ran along its throat and shoulder, and a chunk of flesh was missing from its front leg. The wounds were savage, torn rather than cut, and fresh blood matted its hide. "Those wounds," Kanat said quietly. "They're recent." "Yes," Dr. Yilix confirmed, her scanner already reading the creature through the containment field. "Inflicted within the last hour. The pattern suggests—" "Oh, stars. What?" The doctor's tentacles coiled tightly against her body, a Xarian sign of extreme distress. "The pattern suggests they were made by a smaller predator, something that bit and tore repeatedly, something that fought with desperation and fury." Kanat turned back to Bella. She met his gaze evenly, and in that moment he understood. Humans weren't fragile because they lacked natural weapons. They were considered fragile because the Coalition had fundamentally misunderstood what they were looking at. "You bit it," he said. "Yes." "Multiple times." "Yes." "And it ran from you." Bella's expression didn't change, but there was steel in her voice. "It tried to kill me, so I made it regret that decision." Dr. Ilix made a sound like escaping steam. "But humans don't have the jaw strength to, don't we?" Bella stood, letting the blanket fall away. Despite her small stature, despite her soft skin and lack of natural armor, something about her presence suddenly filled the room. "On Earth we have a saying, fight or flight. Most species in this galaxy seem to prefer flight. Humans," she smiled, and there was nothing friendly in it, "we evolved to do both. And when cornered, when survival demands it, we fight with everything we have. Teeth, nails, rocks, whatever it takes." Connaught remembered the briefings about Earth, a world of extreme weather, natural disasters, and countless predators. Humanity hadn't clawed its way to the top of their food chain by being gentle. They'd done it by being adaptable, relentless, and utterly unwilling to surrender. "The database has no match," Dr. Willick said quietly, "because we've never cataloged human bite patterns in combat situations. We assumed they would be negligible, harmless." "We're not harmless," Bella said. "We're just usually nice." Connaught looked at the Kragoth again, at the apex predator that had encountered something it had never experienced before. Prey that fought back with primal ferocity. The galaxy called humans fragile, but they'd forgotten that fragility wasn't weakness. It was just a different kind of strength. "I'll need to file a report," Kenneth said finally. "Of course," Bella nodded. "And I'll need to add human defensive capabilities to our security protocols." "That's probably wise." As Bella was escorted out for proper medical treatment, Dr. Ilix began updating her xenobiological database. A new entry would be added, a warning for any who might underestimate Earth's children. Species, Homo sapiens. Classification, deceptively dangerous. Warning, when threatened, humans do not always flee. Bite force and fighting instinct exceed predictive models. Approach with caution and respect. In his office later, Connaught composed his report to Coalition Command. He chose his words carefully, knowing they would change how the galaxy viewed humanity forever. They called her fragile. They were wrong.